Welcome to Koala Gardens. I'm Katrina, and this video has taken me a long time to get to make because losing Ellie this year was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for all of you, but it was devastating as well for me. So I wanted to take that bit of time so that I could really get in and make sure that we celebrate her life, as she was one fantastic koala and has left an important legacy behind her, and it's worth us letting that legacy live on. This video is brought to you by my patrons and all of those who do so many things to support me behind the scenes by sponsoring calendars, adopting in the loop, just giving regular or ad hoc sizable donations. And I appreciate every one of those supporters so much. If you'd like to get involved and become part of the family, just check the description below. There's loads of links. Ellie arrived here in October of 2020, and look at what a little cutie patootie she was. She was recently separated from her mum. She was tiny, but she was already confident and very ready to be independent. And amazingly, right at the very start, she showed me without a doubt that she was as girl as you can get. Now, I don't know whether any of you watching today remember how Ellie got her name, so I think it's worth telling the story. Right from the start, her ears were noticeably big, and on Facebook there were some jokes that started up about her being able to fly with them, and this, of course, is a reference to the beloved children's cartoon character Dumbo. However, that was obviously not the name for her. But because Dumbo is an elephant, it was suggested that Ellie would work, and it quickly stuck and has fitted her perfectly all her life long. Come rain, hail or shine, Ellie was always confident up in the tops of the trees and proved to be a very adept eater. Just look at her there. She is soaking wet, and yet she is having a feast on some huge ears and using some great strategies to get a hold of them. Pretty quickly, Ellie was so easy to distinguish. She just had something about her face and those big ears with those beautiful bright eyes that made her as easy to recognize as if she was wearing a sign. And I want to acknowledge the Widjable Wyable people of the Bundjalung Nation and acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. I'm so proud to live on Bundjalung land. I'll never forget this day. It was the 14th of February 2021, Valentine's Day. It was cold and wet and miserable, even though it was the end of summer, and I put on all my wet weather gear. Out I went and found Ellie awake and having a feast, and giving some terrific koala acrobatics. Just watch this. Slow motion, and look at the power as she jumps from one branch to the other in the wind and the rain. Very hard to get this video. The camera got quite wet and I had to do a bit of maintenance afterwards to make sure I dried it all out. I don't know about you, but I could watch koalas jumping all day long. When you go in reverse, sometimes you also have to go in upside down mode to get your way through these tricksy trees. The absolute best way that you can support what I'm doing here is to make sure that you do these few things. Smash that like button on every video, leave a comment, even if it's only one sentence, share my videos out to as many people as you can, and make sure that you've hit that subscribe button and are being notified of new videos. Ellie also had a lot of her own postures that made it quite easy for me to often tell that I was finding her. It's funny how different koalas have got their own little body language things. One of the things with Miss Ellie is usually you can bet she's going to be really high up in the trees and she'll be right back on that cartilage pad across her lower back with her legs up on the branch. And if she's moving, you can expect lots of hops and jumps. Of course, grooming is one of the very important tasks that koalas carry out quite frequently. They use that fused toe on their feet to create a brush motion, and it looks like they're scratching. Sometimes they're having a scratch, but a lot of the time they literally are grooming their beautiful fur up, and we can tell it's well worth it, Ellie. You are an absolute little stunner. Like all koalas, Ellie's pretty good at getting into some pretty amazing flopped over sleeping positions, but her favourite is usually to be more back on that cartilage pad and propped up against a branch. If you've looked at maps of my property and the way it's divided into numbered regions, Ellie's favourite regions were 10 and 11. Ready for a bit more action? I always loved being able to find Ellie awake and doing stuff because she was so nimble and confident, just like we need a koala to be. You often hear lots of beautiful birds in the background. Well, Ellie's just climbed this branch, and just nearby to her is an Australasian fig bird. You see that beautiful red around their eyes. And just look at Ellie here, standing up on this branch, surveying all of her territory like the queen that she is. A really interesting fact about koalas is that they actually are producing scat all day long. Usually, somewhere around every 15 to 20 minutes, they will scat, even when they're asleep. Now, what I really like about this view that we've got through to Ellie, there's some more scat, is you see how clearly we can see the pouch opening there? Beautiful view to a typical Australian marsupial. They are so different, aren't they, to any other animal in the world. You can really see what I mean here about confidence. We can see Ellie, she's sitting on a branch, holding on, having a bit of a groom, but when I zoom back out, wow, look at her right out on the end of a big limb of a huge tree. And it's the perfect place to get the perfect meal. Oh, yum! How good is it when dinner's just right there at your fingertips? And now we move into 2022, and what exciting news. The whole world just kind of exploded with excitement when we got the confirmation that Ellie had matured enough to have her first joey in pouch. So amazing watching marsupials develop, and look at what a strong mama she is. Even with that big pouch bulge, she can jump and leap and climb, just like she did when she was a young girl. Incredibly exciting when in late June I found that pouch bulge starting to open a little bit and Ellie was papping. You can see that pouch is open there and there's a joey parts just showing through. Once again, Ellie is as comfortable, confident and nimble as though she didn't have a great big pouch bulge with a joey in the front of her there. Just watch as she starts to climb a bit and we can really see that pouch bulge. And yep, just stop mid-climb, have a scratch. That's the koala way. I remember I was nearly squealing the day I came along and found Joey's arm hanging out of the pouch. It's a really good indication at that size and that much fur that Joey has been coming out and going back into the pouch by now. Marsupials are beyond amazing. Can you see? That's Joey upside down and that is Joey's nose sticking out of the pouch. Now Joey is actually in Mum's lap. Almost looks like they're sticking the head out of the pouch, but let me tell you, that head is too big now to be in the pouch. And from here on in, each time I came along and saw Joey was out of the pouch. Now, just stop and think, what name was given to this Joey? Can you remember? Ellie's first Joey? You know it. That's Eddie. By the start of 2023, Eddie was now huge. Look at Ellie looking after him there. What's interesting here is we can see that koalas are capable of grooming each other. But once a joey separates from mum, it's not a behaviour that we see them displaying. And Ellie is still as gorgeous as she ever was. She just now looks like a big mature koala. Motherhood certainly suited her to the ground. Those ears though, they really are something. And before we knew it, there's another huge pouch bulge and Ellie's done it again. She's become a mum and has another pouch full of joey. We watched with so much anticipation. It's just the most beautiful thing to watch and wait. And there you go. You can see that little Joey head in Mum's lap. And she's like, yep, my secret, but no longer. Do you remember what the name of this one is? Now, this Joey is still on the property at the time of me recording this and is her second Joey, another little boy Joey, and the gorgeous name that just fits him to perfection, Elmo. Ellie, brilliant mother. Ellie taught her Joeys to be so strong and the importance of staying up high in the trees most of the time and how to be confident and eat well. Before we knew it, 2024 had rolled around. Ellie was still raising Elmo, but you can see already how big he's becoming. I will say these two male Joeys of Ellie's, they grew fast and they grew big. Both of them were like little mini me's though. Just amazing to see a mum and her boy Joey look so much alike. You can see there that Elmo is now at least 2 to 2.5 kilos big, and yet he's still drinking some milk from the pouch, even though he was pretty independent by this point. And then along came Sir Valentine knocking at Ellie's door. There's Ellie, and Elmo was pretty smart, and he scooted up, 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 up. There he is, to the very top of the tree. Yeah, you should leave that kind of stuff to the adults for sure. We hoped that this was going to mean that Ellie was going to be producing us her third Joey later in 2024, but as we now know, that wasn't to be. Here it is, it's late May in 2024, and Ellie, she's just looking brilliant. But what I did notice was that there was no sign of a little pouch bulge, but just look at how strong and just how clever Ellie is at getting a good feed from this young forest red gum tree. This is why I was really quite shocked when only weeks later I noticed Ellie had a bit of conjunctivitis in one eye. I only had to watch her for a week before she was in a tree where I could set a trap, and you can see her here in the trap, and got her into the hospital. Chlamydia is such an insidious disease. The main thing is that I am just so thankful that she did not suffer long. This was only about 2 weeks before she showed signs of illness. And that's how quickly chlamydia can take a koala. But Ellie has left behind the most amazing legacy with these 2 big, strong, healthy sons that she's produced, and is now a living legacy as to why we need to do all we can to save koalas. Thank you so much for taking this trip through Ellie's beautiful life with me. I hope you have a cause to be celebrating her amidst the sadness. Another way that you can support what I'm doing here at Koala Gardens is at any time you need something for yourself. A pillow, a bedspread, a t-shirt, a hoodie. You want a gift for somebody that you want to give them something really different. Hop over to my Redbubble store. The link is in the description below and see if there's not something for everyone.